Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Revelations. So we are in Nehemiah 4 still, and our study today was about difficult relationships. And of course, there's lots of good wisdom to find in how Nehemiah worked within the relationships that were conflicting with what God was calling him to do. And so I pulled out a really good list, actually, that I think I might frame just to remind me of how to properly respond. But I want to talk to you because one thing that really hit me was the last couple verses in Nehemiah 4 that I wanted to talk about. It said, "At that time, I also said to the people, let each man be a guard or spend the night in Jerusalem with his servant, so that they may be guard for us, and day and labor at night." So what happens at home when the men leave and the servants leave? The women are left unprotected in places where the enemy knows they're unprotected. And yet, to do God's work, this is what they were being called to do. And I find myself oftentimes, when God calls me to do something, thinking, how will this impact my family? And I can't do that. He already knows. Sometimes he calls us to be away. Sometimes he calls us to move. Sometimes he calls us to put our family and ourselves in places that are not that safe, because that is where he wants us to work. And if we say, but God, you wouldn't put me in this place if you were really calling me, because that might hurt my family member. It might hurt me. It may cause an injury. It may do something. That's not living in faith. And so these people had to walk away from their wives, their farms, their children, and take the protection, which was themselves and their servants, into the city and stay to do what needed to be done. And that may seem rather difficult. It was very difficult. And so they didn't have the technology we do today about, knowing who's coming on your property and what's happening, and having phones to be able to connect with each other. And they had to let that worry go. And they had to trust that God was going to take care of their families while they did the work that he was calling them to. And as a mother, if God's calling you to do something and you think, how is this going to affect my children? Don't worry. He's got that covered. But we can't but God wouldn't allow that mindset to control our obedience to him. Oftentimes, our kids and our families need to go through the things that they go through in our absence, because God's doing something bigger that we would get in the way with. And that's hard to think about, because we think, I'm called to be mom. I'm called to be in this family. This is my calling. And why would God pull me out? Well, because they're his kids before they're yours. And he has something to do in their lives. And not always can we be the one who orchestrates all of that. So anyways, whatever's going on in your life, whatever God is calling you to, don't let the thought of how is it going to affect my family or the other people around me keep you from being obedient. That's what we learned in Nehemiah 4 today. So thanks for watching Daily Revelations. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.